Well, let me say a special good morning to one and all. Hope all is well with everyone this morning. Good Monday morning. Is the 11th day of March 2024. How's everybody doing? Once again, how is everyone doing? It's a beautiful morning in the Spice Isle, I must say. Let me say good morning first and foremost to the folks who are viewing and listening to us online, whether you're via the Facebook page, the YouTube channel. Good morning to you. Thanks for being with us this morning. Certainly happy to have you with us this morning. Those of you at home today, you're probably at home today getting some chores done. Probably you worked over the weekend and you decided at home today, I'm doing what I have to do around the house still consider this work, right? You do what you have to do around the house. Good morning to you. Thanks for making Classic Radio of course your listening and viewing medium this morning, and thanks so much. It's to the point. I'm your host GT. Usually we have Mr. Sylvan back in town. He's running a little bit late this morning due to certain circumstances. He's a bit late this morning, but he's going to be here, and so I just thought I'd kick the show off this morning and just wish everyone well this morning. Hope you had a great weekend once again. As I mentioned before, it's been one of those weekend, of course, the last couple of hours, last 72 hours has been very well. We know, just to get ahead of things until Sylvan pops in this morning, we're hearing about, an individual lost at sea from the sister isle of Carriacou. That's a bit of a concern there also, and suddenly you hope, this individual will be found and all will be well with him. An individual from the sister isle of Carriacou. We're also hearing about, of course, an unfortunate incident also inside of Carriacou. Yes, we saw a 14-year-old was a victim, identified as a victim inside of Carriacou, lost her life, and sad to hear that. Our condolences goes out to the family also. And haven't heard any other release from the police in terms of details about the death of the teen. So thus far as yet, certainly hope during the course of the week, or maybe from after today or during the course of the week, we may get some more details as it relates to that. And sad to hear of that. And that's Carriacou having their first incident of that nature thus far for 2024. I wish he could have gone through the entire year not having incidents of that nature. It's a bit of a concern. Crime is always, a concern to you. We just happy that it's not as rampant in our beautiful Spice Isle as it is in other, countries around the world, or even within the Caribbean. Our numbers are low. But 1, 2, 3, whatever the amount that occurs, sometimes too much. Becomes a little bit worrisome for us, and we certainly will wish that we will not have incidents of that nature at all. Now, a beautiful Spice Isle, where a lot of folks come here on vacation. That's where we live. Individuals who come here on vacation. We certainly do live here, and certainly hope that it may be the last we hear of incidents of that nature. For the rest of 2024. Once again, those of you on your way to work and you're listening to Classic Radio, good morning. And thanks for being with us this morning. As I mentioned, Sylvan will certainly be with us shortly. And as soon as he's here, we'll get into that conversation we do get into when he's here on a Monday. Hey, my apology for not being here. Was it on Friday? Sometime last week was a bit of a week for me for last week. Had some personal things I had to take care of, and was of my reasons. So my apology for that. And thanks to, of course, Joe, who stepped in and then hold out to the point for me. And thank you so much for that. Hey, folks, it's just moving on to 10 minutes after the hour. And I see Sylvan is coming in, so let's take a short break and get him settled just a wee bit. And we certainly will kick in just after the break, just get him settled in. We're coming right back. Stay with us, folks. Don't touch your dial.
I want you to control your anger. There's a way to feel better. That's one thing to remember. No matter where you are, you can be a star. Stop and take a deep breath and relax yourself. Take
Welcome back to the listeners and the viewers. Welcome back to this edition of To The Point for today, Monday. Once again, let me say good morning to Mr. Sylvan McIntyre. Good morning to you, sir. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Hey,
I did offer you your apology for being a bit late this morning when I did kick the segment off this morning. And welcome.
Actually, I listened to you expressing that I had some challenge. I was not going to allow me to be here on time, so that was good. Because, even if I'm not on the program, I always listen to GBN.
All right.
I follow you guys. So again, thank you for the welcome. Good morning to everyone. It is the day that the Lord has made. We are grateful to be part of it. Monday. I know a lot of you are looking forward to hearing from us on Mondays. Again, every week we have the expression of the interest and people who say that they follow us. That lady from Barrett I met, and I met her at Coates last week, and she spoke. I want to say a special good morning to her. She said she always locked in, and the program is so educational and so useful. So every day I have somebody new. GT, your program is really having some impact on Grenada.
I'm certainly grateful for that. Certainly grateful for that. That we are able to impact someone or the other, share information that folks will gain a lot of knowledge from. Because it's important what you listen to these days. Once you could listen to something and learn. So also saw last week you had that, of course, a visual for your son and so forth. How was that? I did pass when it was taking place at Troverong for there, stopped and look on for a wee bit. I didn't stay for the lengthy period of time. How was that?
Oh yeah. So let me express my gratitude, profound gratitude on behalf of the family, relatives, and everybody else for a successful first anniversary vigil.
Yes.
That was really good. The support from family members, that was really overwhelming. Charmaine, Dawn, Pauline, Anne, and others who really step into the fore, to give me that shoulder to lean on, Terrence and his wife, Auntie, and so forth. That was really, 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 really nice. And the supporters, I think, the event was about Asha, and I'm happy it was about him and not about my friends or so. All his friends and supporters that, came out because of his short period or not, the impact he had on them, they really came out, to really lend their support in that candlelight vigil. I want to say hats off to the RGPF. To be honest, they really showed up.
Yes, I did see I saw a number of them, was there.
Good. Mm-hmm. The era was marked off very early. It coned off for us to have the space. The Grenada breweries, again, that allowed us to use the car park area, the RGPF were there before, during, and after. It was a vigil, candlelight, a walk, a match, and it was also a short motorcade. They provided escort before they led, and there was escort at the back. And they were all the way through, and the officers stood up there and they give us that kind of a support. And
that's so good.
I want to say to the RGPF, I probably will call our right commissioner directly and say how much we appreciate the support that we've gotten. And for the entire year, Grenada has built a wall around us, understanding the tragedy that we went through. And not just us as a family, but there are other persons who may have gone through similar occurrences. There are lots of incidences and occurrences, and accidents occurred. Not necessarily road accidents, but Grenada has been going through a period where it has been hitting us so hard in our hearts that we have to build that internal fortitude, that tenacity within to be able to resist them. They come one after the other.
And folks do need that support from time to time. You do need that support.
Definitely. And to see how people rally around the structures, although there's a lot more that we need to see in terms of the psychosocial support, the counseling and so forth, victims of situation, not those who passed, but those who are surviving. This morning I reached out to Asha's mom in New York, and she did say to me that she has to get some therapy because she's been having continuous headaches, she's been down under and so forth, so I know she's not doing very well over that. So everything after 1 year is just, rehashed to come out really fresh again. And we have to face the next hearing on the 16th of April. So I want to say again, Grenada, we love this dear country of ours. And my son's life is a sacrifice for Grenada, for the betterment of Grenada. We're seeing lots of traction. I did make a special announcement on site, indicating that we had our release, our registration formally registered. And to be honest, when I speak, I get emotional sort of, because I know what this will mean and its meaning for Grenada. We tried to have had the foundation registered for almost a year. We've been going back and forth. Directors were not all there to sign the documents. Some were abroad, and we had to have had everybody. We put the submission in, we went back and forth, there were issues with it. And when I finally called, they said that, we had missed the submission date, so they had to resubmit.
Okay.
And you know what? The registration came just on the anniversary of my son's passing.
I guess you were so happy for that.
I am, because we tried to have got it on his birth date as well, which was the 13th of January. It did not happen.
All right.
And it went on. So there has to be a reason why all of these pieces are seeming to fall in line. So it is the death of one person saw the birth of something that would mean a strong legacy to Grenada.
Right,
I'm so proud of what we would be able to achieve through the support of Grenada, and the expression of support at all quarters of Grenada is just kind of over. So we're looking forward to collaborate more strong with the RGPF. As I said in my remarks down there, that we're not competitive.
Yeah.
We're complementary. That's what we want to do for Grenada. And our efforts, any finances or anything that is raised or contributed, it will go towards ensuring that Grenada is a safer place.
Right.
And the advocacy will be very strong. We'll be raising the issue. As I said, we want to be the voice for people who are victims of road traffic accident. And we want to be the advocates for ensuring that things happen. And in particular, the Maurice Bishop Highway, we would not become quiet until we see sidewalks in that area for pedestrian, and until we see that overdue overpass that is required, where people need to just walk over and carry on. Once that's the construction of that project start, trust me, it will
bring a level of fulfillment.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I know. I listen to you speak, and I know the passion until you speak about this. It's not only about your son, but this goes for Grenada in general.
Yeah.
This goes for Grenada. Yes, the foundation is started because of what has happened to him.
Yes.
But whatever you plan on doing going forward in the future is going to be for the benefit of all.
Yes.
And we do and get a minimal or zero occurrence of issues of that nature happening in terms of what you plan on doing. Mm-hmm. You understand? That's the key focus of the foundation. Yeah.
So when the dark moment come and I begin to, because it was just the two of us living in the house, and so when the empty space comes up and I begin to feel that heavy and otherwise, and so forth, I just switch to thinking of his brighter moment, our good moments, and to think of what this is doing for Grenada. Yeah, and as I said before, and I wish other parents can say the same, do to your children that when they're not there, or they've grown and they leave your homes, not passing like we had, but they're no longer to you can say, I did what I had to have done for my children. And I can say that I don't regret anything. I don't feel that I did anything short of what I should have done for my children or my son who passed. Right. We lived a good family life together. We had very good relationship. And so I am not living the regret that I am saying if I had known. Right. And I think this is what people should strive to do. Create that relationship, that bond with your children, that even something traumatic or otherwise happen, you will still feel justified, gratified in your heart that you did genuinely, honestly, dedicatedly as to what a parent should mean to a child. So while, yes, we mourn his loss and so on, I am not feeling as though, you know what, I should have done better with my child. We should have had a better relationship. I should have given him more money. I should have given him more opportunity. I should have created more for him. I should have given him education. I have no remorse where that is concerned. I just feel that, the bond that we created, what I gave to him and what I continue to give to my children, it worked.
And that says more than anything else.
Yes, man.
That bond that you create, even though you may not have done more, if you would have liked to have done more, it didn't happen, but there was always that bond that is most important than anything else.
Absolutely.
And good memories that comes along with that bond that you did have.
Yes,
all right,
going forward.
Good forward. Carriacou, there was an incident there over the weekend. Somebody was passing it by now, but sad to hear of these happening in our sister Isle, of the first incident there happening of that nature. I did speak about it in my intro, and I did send out the condolences to the family of it.
Right.
It's sad that we hear that. It's sad to hear of incident of that happening. Then we also hear in Carriacou, an individual going missing.
Yes.
And, that incident occurring there again. Oh.
Yeah. So let me just say, Petit Matinee, Grenada, Carriacou, there are times when a dark cloud looms over every territory. And so when darkness comes, it is not a moment for embracing it for gloom and doom.
Yeah.
It's a moment to look to the point when you would see the breakthrough within the dark spots. Behind every dark cloud is a silver line. That one.
There used to be a program on radio about that one.
Yeah, that one needs to look forward to. And when things happen, you have to look for the message in the occurrence. So why is this happening? What is this meaning for us? Grenada is definitely going through a moment. And sometimes for those who are religious and spiritually inclined would think about there is sometimes the angel of darkness that sometimes moves through. And there is no process in life. Change is a constant aspect of life. And a change also would mean dark and dull moments. So it's how we rise and deal with the situation that would make the difference. It's not that we have to lament and moan forever over a situation that is not currently pleasant.
Yes.
So we want to be able to take strength from this situation, and I would want to also join with the religious community to say that we should continue to pray for Grenada, pray for our leaders, pray for our children, pray for their protection and guidance generally. It is often said that Grenada is a Christian nation.
Yes. And
Christian in inverted commas, etc. What does that exactly mean? But I think our tradition of being God-fearing and religious in its sense, we should be able to go back to those fundamentals. Yeah. And I think the thing that we found in our history that has worked for us, and I think religion, I'm convinced, has worked for us in a lot of ways, despite the controversies in many sense. Yeah. But what my statistic has shown, that the people who are rooted in those principles and tradition of our parents, they have done better than those who have gone away from it. So it doesn't give me a lot of reason to think otherwise.
Some folks may challenge you with that, Mr.
I would wish to have it, no
will get that challenge and say, well, this is modern times.
Yes.
Religion may not be the thing that could, cause that whole transformation in terms of what we see going on right now, instant stop of it.
Combination.
You understand? Combination of things.
It could be a combination of things.
It could be a combination of things.
Yes,
Someone will pray and someone will do this and something may happen. Folks will say, hey, this is modern times. Individuals have their own way of thinking in comparison to where individuals before used to do things. Everyone would have listened to their parents.
Yes.
We would listen to elders in the community speak and will cease from doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
In modern times, no individual will say, I have a mind of my own.
Yes,
despite what my parents tell me, if I want to commit an act, I will do it.
Yeah.
You understand? Even though it's going to be of a bad nature or whatever it is, and I know of the consequences that's going to come around, it doesn't matter. I've listened to individuals speak that way.
Right.
They were just, I don't care.
Right. Right.
So that's what I'm saying. You may say, yes, we need to pray and all of that, but what kind of a difference would that make?
Well, I don't think necessarily there's a one-off solution, and everybody would have their own opinion. And for people who are Christian and religiously inclined, have to also remember that you're not terrestrial, you are human as well, you're on earth. And you need to do earthly and physical things. So those who think that you need to just pray and allow things to happen would not be getting... You have to pray and act as you have to do things. So there's definitely a combination. So people who think that they're sick and they can pray to be healed and don't go to the doctor, they need to reconsider that.
Exactly.
Because God is the same one who gives the doctor the knowledge to give you the medication, whether it is herbs or otherwise, for your own healing. So it's a combination of. So my point is, what has worked for us, we should, look and get the options. And my short time and not as well has shown me through my own upbringing that those kinds of inclination, they are more positive than otherwise. And I go back to...
I do agree with you, but folks will say, I'm not praying anymore. Because I've heard individuals say, I'm not praying anymore. I have done it so much times and I'm not seeing, a result from what I've been doing for the length of time I've been doing it.
Right. So
maybe I should stop praying.
Right.
So you say, they should probably use other methods in combination with the prayer.
Right. So, yeah, of course. But somebody may say, for the last couple of people saying I should grow, and I've been eating everything, and I've seen myself growing. But do you actually see yourself growing? But you're eating, right?
Yes.
And it's having this impact without you actually seeing that you're growing. So sometimes these things are happening, and you don't physically observe them, but they're actually happening.
They're happening, but sometimes the process, sometimes folks like that quick spin of things.
Yes.
That's one of the things maybe in society today. Folks like to say, if I'm eating, I'm supposed to be growing. If I'm thin and I'm eating, I'm supposed to get fat.
Yeah. So
I want to see it tomorrow. You understand?
Different dimensions. But as we try to focus on the structured side of it as to what's going on with what is considered to be crime and violence and occurrences, there are the inevitables. There are some things that we really can't prevent.
Yeah.
But we can mitigate them. We can do things to minimize them. Some of the things that we're seeing that are criminal in nature, we have to examine a few things as to what happened to be the root cause. And as I move around Grenada, you understand by now that I move around Grenada.
Yeah.
We take too many things for granted and we are too reactive rather than be proactive. Some things I would hope that we are able to project and be able to visualize things more.
Sometimes we see the intentions of certain issues that's going to sprung out of control, and for some reason the neighborhood are taking notice of it and nothing has been done.
Yes.
For some reason or the other. We sometimes see the reckless driving on the road.
Yes.
And we are not telling the police or calling onto the police or the traffic department
until somebody get killed.
And we say, hey, I think you all should be having patrols in that area on a regular basis because of the speeding we see taking place there. And we wait until someone lose their life and then you see the police start coming. No, it wouldn't make a difference.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Because it may happen for a wee bit of time. Everyone noticed the police is there, so they stop.
Yes.
Police stops in a week or two, and it reoccurs again.
Yes.
So
preventing or curbing crime and violence is an all hands on deck approach.
Yeah.
Society has to become more involved. The churches definitely need to step up and take their prominence. The law enforcement need to be more assertive, more proactive, and to be ahead of the game. Our leaders need to ensure that policies are designed that are current. Yeah. You speak about being modern day, and that our policies are revised, our principles and laws, they are current based on the situation. And on top of that, enforcement must be rigorous. Justice must not necessarily be swift, but it must come within the shortest possible time. As we move around, we see signs that would lead into certain things for the future. For example, if you walk around some places in the city, you would see that there are lots of people who assemble in places that were not really habited or inhabited before. These crowds, and you look at the eyes, you look at the actions, you look at the activities, and you can tell sooner or rather later that people moving through those areas would be harassed, that crimes are likely to be corrected.
Something is growing there.
Something is growing. You look at some spots, and I can speak of spots in the south of the island, in the tongue of St. George. You look at streets, and so because we have not been so forceful and assertive in curbing them before they get out of hand, they create the challenge for us to deal with later on. There are quite a number of them. I've seen a few spots, abandoned houses, etc., that people start having one or two persons, they may start selling something on a cart, on a table or otherwise. Other guys start assembling there. A little stand is being built, it gets bigger, and when you understand what's the underlying issue and so forth, it becomes a challenge. It becomes a drug transit point. It becomes a place for planners to rob and rape and commit other crimes and so forth. My point is, it takes all on deck to identify these issues and speak about it at community forum, at religious forum, at political forum, that we need to address them and be strong about it. Some of our leaders are too timid in taking actions that should be taken. Yeah. And that is something that we need to be able to stand up for. Once you stand up for the right thing, guided by particular principles, then you don't need to have that level of fear. Yeah. Sometimes our politicians are afraid to take certain decisions because it may affect the vote. But if you are confident that what you're doing is the right thing, maybe the vote down the road may not matter, because trust me, if I'm going to be running or otherwise in politics, the strong decision, if it means Grenada, it means me as an individual not getting into office or in office getting out, I would stand for the right thing. And in my own life as an individual, I've taken very unpopular decisions because I knew it was for the benefit of the greater good and the majority. Yeah. And sometimes you suffer the stigma, the criticisms, and otherwise because you take a stand that is not popular. Yeah. That's what good leaders are supposed to do. You're supposed to have the vision and have the guts to know that you may be standing alone for a while, but be convinced inside of you that what you're doing is for the greater good. If you think that you're not positive about it, you're not so quite sure, you may as well not go. Yeah. But if you are convinced based on circumstantial or otherwise, maybe you may have intuitions, you may have ideas, you may have visions, you may have a dream and so forth. If you have a dream, just go for it.
Yeah. You know, it goes back to this part that you mentioned in terms of the community now. Because, you know, a lot of folks are reluctant to share information, especially with the police and other in authority for various reasons. Yeah. Folks may consider, hey, Sylvan has been a snitch for sharing information of what he sees. But sometimes it's, as you said, it's for the benefit of the community as a whole. Yeah. And a lot of folks also for the reluctancy, as I mentioned, because now the confidentiality part of it. It may not always be confidential. It somehow people will find out, well, is Sylvan that is doing it? You understand? And those are the kind of things that I think sometimes we see in incidents in society happening or in various community happening and nothing has been done about it because folks don't feel confident in sharing information.
Right. And I like your angle on that. And we can go on in terms of the all hands on deck. Yeah. There is one particular community in our country, the legal fraternity, the lawyers and so on, attorneys at law, etc. We understand their responsibility in defense, advocacy, and otherwise, but it's not definitely a lash out at them today, but sometimes I believe they need to be a bit more vocal and help the law enforcement authority explain the ambits of the law, crimes and violence, and I think there are a few initiatives upcoming. It's not about defending at all costs. And if we love this dear country of ours, we must be able to point out wrong when it is wrong and be able to not look at the dollars and cents all of the time, but to look at the greater good of our country. I want to applaud those attorneys at law who would be vocal, who would stand out, who would sit on programs and try to educate our community, our populace as to some things. The police have been doing some of that, but I wish we can see more lawyers taking the forefront to explain certain conditions. You would hear most of them, some of them speak when offenses are committed, but we want more people, more professionals, the medical fraternity, the legal fraternity, the religious community. We want people to be more upfront, speak on the issues before they actually happen. For instance, when you have offenses committed, people speak of charges, fines, sentences, etc. And these simple terminology in a lot of sense, people quite don't understand it. I listened to the analogy of some people recently, and they say, well, this person was charged for this offense, and they're still here, are they there? Not understanding that a charge is not necessarily a fine. A charge is one that is written up, meaning that an offense is suspected to have been committed, and that is the charge that is written to support what the evidence says. Now, that charge has to be brought before a court, tried, and if that person is proven guilty of the offense, then he is either fined, which is either monetary or custodial. Yes. But some people, once they hear charge, this person has been charged for this. The charge doesn't mean
you have to be locked up.
Yeah, is a locked up. Not necessarily, if not even a locked up, the person could be arrested and charged. There is a difference in an arrest and a charge. So a person could be arrested and still not charged. Okay. So he could be arrested and then put on a charge. And then he does not necessarily need to go into a cell or into prison because he is not proven guilty. If he's written up on a charge, he has to go before court, for which he'll be proven guilty or innocent, for which he might be either fined, confined, custodial, or monetary, or maybe acquitted of the charge.
That's so sometimes understanding the process of the law.
Understanding those processes. And I think we need more of people to be on explaining those conditions, because people get antsy and anxious when they hear, this person was charged and look, the person is still walking around and the person has gotten no money. So these are I mean, I would love to hear a bit more of the breakdown for the layperson to understand how these processes, bail, escape prisoners, and all of these things, police proceedings. We would need to see more panel discussions, police and lawyers and medical people creating these panel and this community forum where our community begin to understand a bit more. And one of the things people are going to see us do is be a lot in schools, trying to culture within our younger individuals aspects of road safety. But we also think the ambit of the law, understanding the laws, penalties, etc., must start with our young children.
All right. So we have a caller. I've been having him on hold, or him or her on hold for a wee bit. Let's hear what they have to contribute this morning. Caller, good morning. My apology for having you on hold that long. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. GP, and good morning to Mr. Sylvan McIntyre. Mr. McIntyre, I want to, you said something there that stirred my blood up, so I had to try and call. That we need God. We need prayer. We're talking a lot of talk, but we need not just to say pray. We need prayer. And the churches need to get together and start holding regular prayer sessions in this nation. We cannot do it without God. We are human beings. We need to teach our children that they are not evolved, that they are created by a God whom they need to have a relationship with, who would control their lives and they will not get into this kind of trouble. We have, as a Grenada, don't want to hear anything about God anymore. As if we want to put God in a box and lock him away and let the devil reign. And when we let the devil reign, we don't want what the devil doing. But you can't have the devil and don't have his work, because the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And that's what's happening in the world now. That's what's happening in Grenada. So we need God. I wish, Mr. Sylvan, when you go to the schools, you could encourage the principals to bring prayer back in schools, bring the Bible back in school. And we have too much religion and we don't have Christ. It's Christ that makes the difference, not the religion. We have to have an experience in our heart, a transformation in the heart of man that would make the world better. But again, we are living in prophetic times. The Bible says that these things would happen. It said there shall be perilous times. So we have to prepare for it, and we have to know that the word of God is true. And we need to let God come back in our nation. This GBN, I always complain about, you don't hear the national anthem on GBN. You hear the music because they have God in it, ever conscious of God. So they don't play that. They don't play the music. They play the words of the other things, but the national anthem, which people need to hear. And no, I don't know if the schools do have the national anthem, if the children know the national anthem. Ever conscious of God, we aspire to build and advance as one people. We cannot do it without God. So we ask you, please, Grenada, turn back to God. Turn back to God. That's what God is. God is so merciful to Grenada. Look, this tsunami, not tsunami, this Kikam Jenny that was boiling up recently. God, calm it down. The oil spill, God push it out. We don't see how good God is to Grenada, and we have to be grateful to Him. Grenada, turn to God. Mr. Sylvan, when you go out, I know you're a believer, because when I got to know you at Lucky Heart, I know you as a Christian, you and Paul and the rest of them. So don't let that be the backbone, because people go challenge, and let them challenge. They go to hell if they want to, but you make sure you please God by spreading the gospel to the youth and to the people you come in contact with. Thank you. And
thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution. So when we drew for a break, let's take let's take that break. We'll be right back. Stay with us, folks.
Great.
Is me.
The Planning and Development Authority of Grenada, PDA, is enforcing regulations to curb illegal, disorderly, and unauthorized development in several locations throughout the state of Grenada. The authority is concerned that structures mainly associated with vending are negatively impacting the environment, has undesirable public health and sanitation consequences, present obstructions to vehicle and pedestrian traffic, can become projectiles during adverse weather conditions, and generally affect protect the aesthetics of the nation. The PDA will work along with stakeholder ministries and institutions to effect the demolition, removal, and disposal of structures which fall in the category of illegal and disorderly development, commencing January 2024. In this regard, persons who vend in or occupy such illegal structures are advised to secure their personal belongings and have the structures removed ahead of the planned PDA demolition operations. These actions of the PDA have become necessary to safeguard and protect public health and the environment, ensure the safety and well-being of all citizens and visitors, discourage any future disorderly construction, and encourage compliance to regulations pertaining to physical development in the state of Grenada. This is a message from the Planning and Development Authority of Grenada.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back, Sylvan. And good morning to those of you via our social media platform. We have some calls coming, but we're probably going to take the calls shortly. Sylvan, something I want us to maybe get your opinion and I'll probably share some information.
Yeah.
There's an issue where we see when particular incidents occur.
Yeah.
And people have the tendency now to spread information,
yes,
especially via social media and so forth. And a few weeks ago we had that discussion where the incident with the young lady who may have gotten burnt. You understand? And they just go about sharing information without having proper information or getting it from the proper authorities before they disburse information.
Yes.
Your concern on that?
I would like to advise our general public Grenadians that we've taken a turn that is not in our interest in terms of how we make use of social media negatively. We have to be mindful when things happen, how the family and their live victims can be affected by the spreading of particular information. The other aspect of it has to do as well, whenever there is an occurrence or the likelihood of a crime committed, that there is the aspect of pre-trial publicity that can affect negatively the outcome of a matter. And so the amount of information put out there has to be balanced or should not be at all in some circumstance. There are things that could be misleading. There are things that could impede the process of an investigation. It may lead to persons who might be guilty of the offense escaping from the situation because of particular technicalities that could be brought by a defense attorney based on the pre-trial publicity that may have existed. We've had the situation where there was a victim, someone who succumbed to a fire, and the father had to come out to appeal to people, please do not circulate the image of his daughter. Yeah. We had the situation in Carriacou where this teenager has died, and there are different views and opinions as to how she may have died. That is not helpful to the relatives. And so I would hope that Grenada will become more conscious, be more mindful of the harm that it can really have on the family members of those who have been victims of different kinds of circumstances. So please desist from it. Do not circulate information that may be true or not be true. Allow the process of justice to take its natural course. But in addition to that, I would hope that our systems that are responsible for disseminating credible information, that they get more ahead of the game or on the game. Too long, people need to wait to get some information relative to what they know is happening out there. So when there is an occurrence, the authorities responsible, law enforcement or otherwise, need to get on the money, need to get on the game as quickly as possible and be able to release some formal information to members of the public so that you avoid the speculations and the proliferation of information that could be harmful thereafter. Yeah. So I think our structure need to be a bit more robust. We need to find the technology, and if it means the personnel in position. Too many times we tend to work 8 to 4 Monday to Friday, and something happening on the weekend has to wait until Monday before something is
even Tuesday.
Or even Tuesday.
To get that information.
And we have to go past that. We are in most cases, as entities responsible, running behind time on how the world is moving. We need to be ahead of the game, or at least on the game, so that a lot of things could happen differently. I thought I need to have said that based on what
I certainly do agree with you that also.
We need to really be mindful of the information processes.
All right. Let's entertain a phone call. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Not too bad, sir. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm calling from the diaspora. You see, one thing I don't understand is that stipulations have to go in place to save Grenada. You see, I'm in Grenada all the time. And just as the gentleman was saying, you see groups of people here, they're not doing anything. They're just assembling, they're harassing people, and there's a constant thing that going on. And I look at this situation, and I say to myself, is anybody seeing this? You're on Granans Beach, they're harassing you. There's a set of people on the beach, they're not doing anything. They're just looking at people, looking where you put your clothes. If you're watching, you have a guy selling me beach chairs. He don't own one. You understand? So stipulations have to go in place. No, so if you say to me, if you find anybody with a firearm, they're getting 15 years. And that's things like that will save Grenada. But once it's not implemented, a man feel he could kill a man anytime. He chop out a man's hand, he get 2 years, and a man thief a bunch of banana, he get 8 years. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that have to revamp. You know, if you have to save Grenada, like most of the Caribbean countries, depends on tourism. And you have to protect, you have to protect what you're making your life by. You know what I'm saying? And you spread the word around. I see sometimes police go to arrest a man. I set a crowd of people all the time saying, "Oh God, the man ain't do nothing. He ain't do this," and they was not even there. It's not a family. It's just a constant habit. You know what I'm saying? And they think when they do that, they're helping out. You're not helping out. If somebody's wrong, you're wrong. That's it. That's it. You know, and these things have to be fixed. In Grenada, don't let it get out of hand. Like what you see going on in Trinidad is, they let it get out of hand. And now nobody can fix it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you go to the police station, they get something. People just moping around. They're taking their sweet time. And it's just a simple thing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying they had to rush. But, you know, you up on it. You know, and the customer service is horrible. They always act like they're doing you a favor. You know what I'm saying? The thing I'm not saying, you like America. You like Canada. You like all these countries. But these are the things that keep them going forward. The customer have to take care of. And when you commit a crime, you have to pay for it. You know, and these are the things we have to up on. I'm not saying every situation will be the same, but there are certain stipulations that have to go in down. You know, you just in town hanging out, making a set of noise every day, harassing people, you ain't doing nothing. I said to them have a little bag on the side. You know, what are you doing? Be productive. You're spending 8 hours in town doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? You have cell phone in your hand. It's like a computer. You could look for this. You could do something online. You could do a little degree online. You could go to the bank and get a loan or something like that. You know, be proactive. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Good contribution there. Great contribution. Let's take another caller before we wrap up. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Oh, yes, good morning to you, GT, and good morning to your guest. Now, this guy said a mouthful there, and he's so right. But I know to get to 4, you have to start from 1, eh? Mr. McIntyre, I don't know how long you are in the force, and but I thought you was a good police officer. And I don't know if that was the right place for you. Maybe you should have been in the place of the manager of Hawkins Hubbards Julian's, yeah? Because your span is very, very wide, very, very wide. And yes, you're trying, but there is something that is mitigating against you, the economy. Now, I want to zero in on something, and I want you to help me there, because I want to call on Dr. Panchu and the Social Services Division, because something is happening to the nation people. I said we're losing mental capacity, but it's beyond just what I am saying here, sir. And I believe the stress of the nation is taking a toll on us. I send you a clipping sometime, GT, and I think you have to revisit that and see what the brain, what stress is doing or can do to the brain. Because once we're talking about all those nice things, remember, stress can damage anything. And all diseases start with stress. And so if our nation is stressed out as we do, what do you expect would happen? It gravitates right to those crimes that we see in there, because the capacity of the brain is lost. So once we're educating, we are de-educating. I say we are learning at the same time, and we have to take this seriously. The nation is under too much stress, and the nation cannot cope with it any longer. Yeah? It has to go somewhere, and that is where it's going, the crime. So I would want you to give us something on the brain, what the brain can do, what affects the brain, so we could start fixing. Because to me, our leaders have lost their way, they're confused, and they don't know how to come back. So please, help us. Because the stress that we're coping with here is too much. It's too much for the adults, it's too much for the youths. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. Have a good day yourself, caller. We probably take one more caller, and then we get our closing remarks. Good morning to you, caller. Welcome. Caller via WhatsApp.
Good morning, Mr. GT. Good morning, Mr. McIntyre. And how are you? Mr. McIntyre, I listen extensively what you have to say. It is one thing I always believe to deal with crime and different issues. But it's another case when you're looking at the punishment, at the sentencing to the crime. I listened Mr. Nelson on the news the other day and talking about prosecuting at the magistrate. I believe in the legal system, there is less of discretion sometimes being used by this magistrate. I've listened to the news in one of the countries, I think Belize away, and where they find magistrate was corrupt and taking bribery to some crimes. I think there need to be a great revamping in the judicial system to see how magistrate goes about. Yes, I know they are being guided by the laws and where they could sentence someone, they can just use it out of their head. But also, the laws are there, but discretion can be used when you're doing sentencing. So I think we need also, the public need to understand, educate as to how magistrate really goes about dishing out sentencing. And I'm still saying maybe GBN through you, Mr. Telesford, get someone in the judicial system to come and give explanation as to how you go about in dealing with sentences. Because yes, you could have crime, but if someone just getting tap on the wrist, tap on the shoulder for certain crimes, it will also inspire others with the concept, if I do that, I can get a tap on my wrist. So then you can find crime rate escalating. I heard the caller talk about stress. I'm not disputing people don't have stress. But I think that having stress, you have ways and means. You could ask for help, seek help. Stress is not the avenue to say I'm stressed out, so I'm doing crime carelessly. Ways and means to deal with your problem, and don't try to blame it on the society or people for everything you do. You have to take responsibility of yourself if you want to grow. So too much excuse we usually give for people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Sylvan, we do have another caller. Let's take that caller. Maybe your final one for the morning. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. My contribution is morning. I'm so happy I get you. I just want to make mention that we need to have more courtesy drivers on the road, especially coming over the Grand Canal morning. People not indicating and overtaking through and focus with real speed that could result to a bad accident. And in the future, I would like to tell them to know that they will be responsible. They're doing it because they feel they're so profit. Could you please, say something pertaining to cautioning people? They need to be more courteous on the road. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Sylvan, of course, we are getting to that time of the morning.
Yes.
And I'm liking some of the contributions from the callers this morning.
Yes, very good.
Their points are relevant, especially to some of the situations that are taking place lately, in our little beautiful island that we're having,
Yes.
Very, very relevant contributions this morning.
Yeah, and I think we are not able to go to the depths of all of the issues, but we scratch the surface, and we are getting the response from corporate Grenada. People are speaking up.
And you show that people are concerned about what is taking place.
Absolutely. And in terms of the lady's call for courtesy on our roads, it is one of the things that we would want to be able to press quite a bit, and we want to be able to pull and make that aspect of training drivers part of our institution.
Yes.
So that it may become part of the licensing or being on the road process, where people need to go through some aspect of that level of understanding dignity and human behavior and respect for others. I think that will help curb something that we're seeing.
Some folks may say it's too late, but you have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere, and you have to start sometime.
And as the caller mentioned, the Grand Etang area, she's seeing the behavior of the drivers, but we're also seeing that area of road really needs some attention. We need to see some focus in the Grand Etang area. There's lots and lots of precipice and so on in that area, and they need to be protected a bit more. There's some more effort need to go into it's a beautiful rainforest area, very wonderful drive, but we need to make it safer for road users.
Yes,
as we conclude, I want to express as we speak my empathy to the people of Haiti. Yes. I've been to Haiti and I understand what people are going through. They are in a state of anarchy at this moment. There's a CARICOM meeting that is being held, and maybe there might be a CARICOM response. I remember one time we had regional forces from our Caribbean officers going to help stabilize with the UN in Haiti. Maybe there might be some situation where that may have to happen. There is no prime minister. The president prior was assassinated. There is one there, and there's quite a lot of problems in Haiti. But Grenada, we do not have to become as any other part of the world. Grenada is a lovely place, a beautiful place. Crime and violence is not beyond us. Our law enforcement, enough respect for them. They've been doing a fantastic job. They need to have the support of more members of our community, and the institution, the instruments of law enforcement and penalties must support the work of the custodians. Right. And I hope through this we would see a safer and better Grenada. And for when we have occurrences, I wish for our nation to be the loving people that we are, be mindful of the effect that comments could have when there is some fatality or some occurrence.
All right. As you said, we need a holistic approach towards this. This is not just going to be left up to the police alone to deal with this. We as a community, as a nation in general, we have to come out and make that change that we certainly want to have. Thank you, Sylvan. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. We're certainly going to, of course, have another program next week once the Almighty permits.
Yes.
And best wishes once again to all of our listeners and viewers this morning. Thanks for being with us here on To The Point. Join me again tomorrow for another edition. So I say goodbye for today's edition of To The Point. Goodbye, folks.